mobile DJ business. So this is a card that says mobile DJ and the logo of my name, and then on the back. But it's a little warm, all things considered, so we'll take that off and drape that over there. My mom was crafty, and she made things, but it was good to be able to wear that, because I'm sorry, Mom, I haven't worn it as much as you may have wanted me to, but I don't know. Where do we start? What do we say? What do we do? So we've thought about what we say, and we've thought about what we would do, and we wondered like how many people would show up. So thank you. The room is full, and our hearts are full, and we have really felt your prayers and your support and your love over this trying season, over this thing that nobody saw coming. But God has a plan in it all, and we hold on to our faith in this, and we hold on to the love and prayer and support of everyone, and who knows what seasons will still come, what chapters will still be written for whatever platform I have, as we all have platforms in any levels, and my son and my wife and my daughter and everybody, just to impact other lives. We were really prayerful over what we would even say in the obituary, to even say, in lieu of flowers, that people would take the opportunity to send flowers to someone that they love, someone that they may not have heard from or connected with. You may have seen some of the photos that we're going through on the loop. It's one of those things, right, where we could have scanned them all in like a 6-hour show or something. But we just wanted to give a little bit of a background for how Mom was in the last 3 years since coming out to Tennessee. A thumbnail sketch of my mom's life as she was born 7/7/47, which is really easy to remember when they ask you for the birthday for the meds and stuff, 7/7/47. So she had just passed age 69. She met my stepdad through a bowling league. We were big bowlers. And they got married when I was 11. And there's a photo up on the table there in the living room in California where they tied the knots, and they were married for 29 years. My mom born in 1914, my stepdad born in 1913. So it's a little different age-wise, but Junius was a powerhouse and had great energy, and was great to have a stepfather. And I know my mom was glad to be rescued from the life of a single mom with a bratty kid for 11 years. Oh man, I look at that now and I go, yeah, adult conversation, huh? Yeah. I was reading through some journals even today at the house, and my mom's a big planner. So I actually came across the journal that said, if I'm on life support, here's what you do, and here's what the service is, and here's all the songs I want played, and here's all the things I want done. And we had talked about that. You kind of knew. I think the first conversation that I had with Casey from Williamson Memorial, who has been great through all of this, I said, you guys do cremations, right? I said, yeah. So has anybody taken the ashes and used them in a fireworks display? He said, no. And I think he thought maybe I was like practical joker guy, right? This is like a DJ prank call. No, I talked a little bit more, and then I could tell he was realizing this is not a crackpot, this is just a cracked pot. But that's what my mom always talked about. She said, that's what I want. So, strangely enough, the way I understand it, there was a gentleman that's not always there in the office that overheard the conversation and connecting the dots, and lo and behold, there's a company out of Knoxville that handles the city of Franklin's fireworks and other fireworks, and they're like, yeah, we've done that. So we don't know when. Mom wanted to be cremated and have the ashes put in fireworks. So that's what we'll do, and when it's time, we'll let you know, and we'll set our playlist on repeat. Cher, the Spinners, Barbra Streisand, the Commodores, Carole King, all the vinyl that I got to listen to before I could afford my own music, but still, I will drive. I told my mom when you passed, I'm going to be driving and listening to some Cher crying. So, yeah, we'll do that. But that's what's going to happen to remember her life with the fireworks. She said in the journal, she said, make sure that you tell a lot of stories. That's how she wanted to be remembered. So that's our hope today for what we want to do for however long it takes. I told the people that are talking, just share whatever you want to share. She wanted to have stories told. She said, and the poncho story. I even saw that in the journal. Like, tell the poncho story. Okay. Yeah. I always tease my mom because she made jewelry for a head shop, and she was like a hippie type, right? I mean, I was born in '67. My mom was 15 when she got married, but 19 when she had me. And she was apparently had me up for adoption already because she didn't think she could do it. And my aunt called her up and said, hey, we'll help you raise your son, come back to California, and it's all good. And they did. And one of the things my mom did was the crafty part, right, was she made some jewelry for this head shop in Hayward, California. Then she was going on the campus at UC Berkeley. She had the long hair down to her butt and the poncho on and stuff. So there's the poncho story. There was a time that her and I were at a shopping center not too far from the house at a department store, Capwell's in California. And I had to use the restroom. Mom said, I'm going to be over here. You go do your thing. And I don't know, I was first grade or second grade. And I finished what I needed to do, and I went back, and she's not there. So what do? You walk home. So I walked home. I knew where the house was. Figured, well, she's not where she told me she was going to be. I'll walk to the house. So I sat on the porch for a couple hours until she came driving in the driveway with a kind of look. And then she grabbed my hand, it's a subtle way, and we went into the house. And then after she called the police to let them know that I was alive, I don't know. I don't remember much the rest of it anyway. Yeah. But you gotta discipline your kids. I'm not gotta do what you gotta do. But Mom was amazing. I have one of the legal pads over there. Her email address was all of her degrees. So some folks even from Sunday school were talking about that. Her email address is rncmsnjd@aol.com. So if you email that, I get it now. But RNC, registered nurse, certified of California, I forgot the C. MSN, Masters of Science in Nursing, and JD is Juris Doctorate, or she had a law degree. So my mom never let the grass grow under her feet. When you think about keeping our kids safe now, it drives my wife crazy. My mom would leave me at home when I was in the crib with the bottle. And then the neighbor, until then, I hope Douglas wasn't loud last night.
To go to work.
To go to work, yeah.
She wasn't out being a wild.
Oh, that's true, she wasn't being a wild woman, yeah.
Clarification.
Yeah. Yeah, because we were joking that we're going to tell a story and she's going to pop right out to forever. So maybe I should try to do those stories. But yeah, so she was working, and so she would just put bottles around the crib, and we had a dog. And I remember she did tell me one time when she came home and she found our dog in a life and death fight with this big rat. Because we didn't live in the best parts of Oakland, California at the time that we were there. But you know what? She did it. She did it as a single mom. She did it. And she went and she did her nursing thing. And then she went back and she got her master's. And she was a gerontological nurse specialist. And she would counsel people on how to care for your parents when they get older. And then she went back and got her law degree. And when she left working, one of the badges is over there. She worked for the federal government in hospital oversight. She was responsible for the 7 western states, working out of San Francisco, and would fly over those 7 western states and write up hospitals and make sure everything's up to code and all that stuff. So she was an amazing mom. And my stepdad, who wanted to live to 100, made it to 98, was not going to leave California until he left here. And then my mom packed up everything and brought herself to Tennessee. We live in the Maplewood subdivision, and my wife put a message on Facebook. We have a little closed group where we all duke it out as neighbors, and said, hey, my mother-in-law's coming. Is there a house? Dude's like, yeah, I'm going to put it up on the market this weekend. Nobody knows it yet. God. And so we got the house. We're 413. She's 633, 2.5 blocks. So she's been here for 3 years, and we certainly wish that it had been longer. but we loved her to the best of our abilities, and she always reminded me of this, and so I always have to reminded of myself, is she said, no matter what happens, just remember that I always love you. No matter what happens, just remember that I love you. And so I'm going to hold on to that and remember that. Some folks are going to share from the family, and then there'll be a time if anybody else wants to say a few words. I never want to short circuit anybody in their ability to express themselves over the situation and share whatever they wanted to share. Mom wanted all kinds of stories told. And then Pastor CZ is going to come up. And anyway, so my beautiful wife is going to be up first. So come on up, yeah. Oh, no. This is like where I'm like the DJ guy. Round of applause for the So please.
Well, this is not easy, and I'm so proud of my husband for the way he's dealing with everything, and we've been through a lot in our 20 years of marriage, and I can't think of anybody else that I would want to go through these tough things with. So, my mother-in-law and I had, some people in this room know the real story, but I won't go into the whole story because we're supposed to tell happy stories. But
keep it nice. But keep it real.
I'm going to be real. But
I'm ready. You're ready. I'm ready.
If I told the real story, I know she'd pop out. No, we had, I know she loved me. I know she did. But at first, we had a really rough start. And I think really what the core of that was is that we had something in common. I loved my boyfriend, my fiance, my husband.
I hope I was all of those things.
And she loved her son. And we both loved him and love him with our whole hearts. And so I know that that's where that rough start came from, because she didn't know me. I'm a divorced woman with my daughter at the time, who was 4 or 5 years old, and she didn't know who I was or what my intentions were, and she was very protective of him. So one of the stories he didn't share was when she chased down these boys that had kind of bullied him on the walk home from school, and made him, didn't they make you do walk like this?
I had to walk one step in front of the other. It was second grade.
And he was scared, and when he got close enough to the house, he ran in the house and he told his mom, and she took off running to catch those boys. Now, she did not catch them, but she caught the little girl that was walking with them, and she told her, you better tell those boys, they better leave my son alone, and blah, 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 And they never bothered him again, ever, ever. So I'll leave you with that just so you can kind of have a clue maybe what my first meeting with her was like. But I will say, having her move out here was a hard decision. She will tell you, and everybody that knows her, she hated Tennessee. She hated it here. She loved being near us, but she hated Tennessee.
Because they charge you the same amount for 3,000 gallons of water as they charge you for 5 gallons of water. Coming from California, that's kind of hard. And y'all only have 1 trash can here. In California, we got 6 trash cans.
That's right. And if you only have 1 bag of trash, and she would, oh, can I just put my trash in their trash? I only have 1 bag. And they said, you're still going to pay for a trash can. You have a house. And she didn't like all that stuff. So, but I will say, though, that having her here was one of the best things. And as hard as it's been the past year and a half with her health declining and her pain and her depression, for me, it was the best time, because I kind of became the caregiver for her, and I was able to love her and and be there for her, even though she would say, I hate that you're cleaning my toilet right now. I hate that you're helping me get dressed right now. I hate that you're doing my laundry. I hate you. And I would just say, you know what? That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm here for. We're family. And I know you would do the same thing for me. And so she became a different person this past year and a half, and it really connected us. And so I'm grateful for that. And now I just want to share a few things that she loved, that I appreciated. She loved a good steak or a good ribeye, and she also loved a good six-pack. Now, I'm not talking about a six-pack of beer or a six-pack of soda. I'm talking about a young man that has a six-pack of abs. And let me tell you, there was a time, like about 2 months ago, I took her to a doctor's appointment, and there were some construction workers outside in the heat, and one of them had his shirt off. And I only looked a tiny bit, and he did have a six-pack, but I did not stare. She was staring.
She could stare all she wants.
She could stare. She tried her best to convince me to turn around and drive by them, and she said, I'll lift up my shirt and say, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And she was like, okay, just drive by slow. I won't roll the window down. And she begged me, so I said, okay, we'll do this, but I'm locking the car door and I'm locking the window. And so I did it, and she just kind of like smiling as we're driving by. I'm like, oh my gosh. And she wasn't afraid either. Now, I think Jackie left, but Jackie, her husband Nick, for Doug's surprise birthday party a couple years ago, we went there and had a big party, and they grilled steaks. So she loves steaks. So Nick became her favorite, and then she discovered Nick had a six-pack. And if she could have stolen him from Jackie, I promise you she would have. She was wild. I gave her one year, a couple years ago, a birthday card with the guy with the six-pack, and she loved it. Well, and this was probably 2 years ago, and about a year ago, suddenly it's out on the table again, and I thought somebody had sent her a card, and I went and looked at it, and I'm like, that's the card I gave you, last year. And she's like, I know, I found it. Okay. So she had a great sense of humor. And one other story that she loved to tell the nurses. This was she had a great sense of humor, but it was a little crazy sometimes. She would go to these doctor's appointments, because now I'm taking her to all of her appointments and everything. And I guess because of her age, they ask, is anybody in your home abusing you? Are you afraid of anybody in your home? And she would look at the nurses and she would say, yes. And the nurses would say, oh my gosh, okay, well, tell us the story. What is going on? My daughter-in-law, she's out there. And then they would take her, she would let it go. And then she'd start laughing, and they're like, are you joking? And she'd say, yes, I'm joking. I have the best daughter-in-law. She's sitting out there. And then she'd come out with this little smirk on her face. I told him you abused me. And I'm just looking at them going, I don't. I love her. But she was crazy. But let's see if I can read my notes. I was just glad that I was around enough to these appointments that they kind of all got to know me and believed. They just knew when she was coming in, she was just going to have some silly story to say. But she was one of the most resourceful women that I know. I mean, her wheelchair recently, in fact, we were going to call Mr. Johnny to fix it, but we fixed it. It came with the little handle, the brake. And she couldn't figure out how to do it, and between the two of us, I had a little socket wrench thing, and anyway, between the two of us, we did it. But before I had that tool, I mean, she was using tweezers and clippers, and just whatever she could, but that was her nature. Just whatever she could use, she did. And she was very creative, very crafty. You definitely knew if she liked you or if she didn't. Now, she wasn't necessarily mean to you if she didn't like you, but you knew more so if she liked you. And she liked a lot of people. She was a good cook. She was fiercely independent and strong. She was very compassionate, but she was also very opinionated, and I mean that in a loving way. She knew what she liked.
Don't talk politics.
No, don't talk. We learned that a long time ago.
She's from California, so don't
Yeah.
talk.
She, we knew conversations to have and not to have. She was very smart. She was always willing to stick up for the underdog, and she always wanted to encourage people that seemed like she saw their potential, but they didn't see it, and she would just try to pour into them. She, as I said, she had a great sense of humor, and she loved bright colors and the color purple, and that's why we're all kind of wearing purple today. And the last thing I'll say about her, and if you've been in her home or you know her, you'll understand, she had a very eclectic sense of style and taste, but she loved it. She didn't go with what the rest of the world was doing or thinking or trends. She did what she liked. And so I love her. I admire her. I'm grateful that she gave me the most amazing husband. And I'm gonna miss her. I'm gonna miss her a lot, so.